Hi all. So today's video we are discussing about the pipeline execution and the triggers in the Azure Data Factory and the Synapse Analytics. Because it is a very important concept, so we can discuss in a 1 minute. What is the trigger? Normally, where we can apply the trigger in the daily if you are checking because every day I'm a client of you, I'm giving one scenario to you like I just want my data every day updated in the blob storage and I'm getting the Power BI. Or simply I will say I need to update my Power BI every day at the 7 a.m. or 7:30 a.m. So that is my client requirement. So what you can do, you can give one the schedule trigger at the 6:30 a.m. Then it will be updated because when the client to look at the 7 a.m., definitely they will get the answer, right? So that is the reason importance of triggers we want to do in the ADF because simply it means that we need to update the data every day in a specified time. Okay. So that is the importance of trigger and the triggers are mainly in three types that we can discuss in the video. And the pipeline execution. Pipeline execution means trigger when the trigger triggered and the pipeline will execute. So I will show you how this works. For example, so this is the trigger UI. From here, you can click on this. This is the pipeline. If I create a pipeline, for example, if I create a new pipeline, copy data activity, then there is an option add trigger, trigger now, trigger now, and edit on new. So here you can click on that, choose a trigger. Click on this one, new, create a new trigger. You can give the trigger name of trigger copy data activity. You need to specify which copy data activity from Synapse to block storage, or you want to the system from any other Amazon web services to our blob storage, etc. That you need to specify to identify your trigger. And there is three kind of trigger: schedule trigger, trembling window trigger, custom event, and storage event. So this we will discuss. And next one, we need to start then the time zone. Okay, time zone you need to define which time zone you want. We can give the IST. IST. If our user is in the India or that kind of thing, we can use. Then recurrence time every 50 minutes. Don't want to need every day. Okay, every 1 day we need to run our job. Then execute these time. Advanced recurrence option means hours must be in the range of 0 to 23, the minute in range from 0 to 53, the time specified in the following time zone setting above. So the hours you can specify, minute you can specify, and the schedule execution times, this one, and specify the end date. Okay. Then the annotation. If you want to group the triggers in a particular thing, you can give the annotation and publish it. Then when you deploy it, when you okay, start the trigger on creation. If you uncheck this box, if you create after the or when we want it, it will be we need to update it. So that is the reason. But I'm want the creation. I need to start this trigger as the creation. Then it will be get the day. So that means one trigger we deploy, and one more the option I will make sure you can. There's a trigger. Okay. So this is the trigger we deployed today. Then you can add more trigger one, trigger two, anything you can add here also. So that is the importance of trigger. Then okay, so we can add the trigger and based on yeah, and come back to the kind of trigger. There are different triggers are available. Schedule trigger, a trigger invoke in a pipeline in a wall or clock schedule because the client want every day or every 1 hour I need to update my data. Then you can give the schedule trigger, you can make it. Then tumbling window trigger, that is important, a trigger that operates in a periodic interval while retaining the state. Periodically need to revoke it. Periodically after the 15 minutes, I need to there is no overlapping. 15 minutes, that trigger again updated, then again updated. So that kind of thing we can give in the tumbling window trigger. Then event based trigger. In the real life example, when the client updated one data in a particular storage account, if they uploaded the file in a storage account, we need to update in the Power BI. Okay. That is the example of event based. Some event from a client side happen, we need to do another action. If you don't do any action from their side, we also don't need to do this action. I think hope you're clear. So that is the event based trigger. And so basic trigger, schedule trigger on JSON. So there is some start time we can give, recurrence we can give, interval, how many interval we can give. Then end time, schedule. Then the properties like start time in the past, start time in the future, current time. That also we can give. Minute, hours, weekday. Minute means integer, array of integer, hours, integer or array of integer, weekdays, Monday, Tuesday, that we can do. Monthly occurrence, month days. So these are the things we can do in the event-based trigger. So when we deploy the trigger, it will execute or it will be help to run the particular pipeline because we deploy this in this particular pipeline. Like when this event trigger happen or when the trigger is scheduled, this pipeline is only executed. Where we can deploy the trigger, that pipeline, that particular pipeline only we can see there. And the trigger run, if the trigger already deployed, the trigger run we can see here. I think hope you're clear. Yeah. So if you have any doubt, comment below. Definitely, you don't worry about. We need to create. We need to check out, or we need to create each and every point in a single project. Then only we can understand more. This is the overview or theory concept.